Hey there, I'm Lee Rowley, and this is Lee After Dark. Why? Because there's more to being a business leader than just business. Each episode, one brave entrepreneur ejects the elevator pitch and just gets real. Today, I'd like to welcome Riana Milne. Did I get that right?
You did. Hi,
First
Lee.
try! Wow!
You
Oh,
did
there is
good.
hope. There's hope for humanity yet. Oh, how are you,
Yes,
Riana?
I am wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. It's another beautiful day in Florida. What could be wrong?
That's absolutely wonderful. It's not such a beautiful day here in Ohio, but I will
Oh,
I will appreciate your scenery there vicariously. So
yeah. I used to live in Erie, PA, the snow belt. So
you
I'm
know
sending you my sorrow. I don't miss
you
the
feel my
snow at all.
pain.
I am
Yep,
happy. Yes, I know.
cool. Well, Rihanna, the rules are simple. For the next 20 minutes, we can talk about anything you want except your business.
Okay.
All right. And then after that, you'll have 5 minutes to talk about whatever you want to say, to tell us how to get in touch with you, an offer, whatever you want to do. But if you mention your business during the interview, you'll lose 1 minute of pitch time per infraction.
Oh, how
Mm-hmm.
cute is that?
So, well, we try to keep it interesting. So, are you ready to play?
Sure.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and start the timer here. And what do we want to get into for the next 20 minutes? Let's start with you. Tell us about you.
I love my life. I would say the best job I ever had is being a mom.
Okay.
And I have two amazing daughters. Alexi Panis speaks throughout the world as a motivational personal development coach. And she is pregnant with twins right now. So it's a very exciting time for the family. And she's also married to a motivational coach, Preston, and they live out in LA. And my other daughter, Stefana, and her husband, Charles, are in Orlando, and I have two grandsons there. So family is very important to me, and I don't often get to mention them on Facebook. I get to put up their pictures at Halloween and Christmas and that kind of thing. But I would say that's my favorite job. Being a mom and now a
Being a mom.
grandmom is really cool. It's been a very special part of my life. And I can talk about parenting. I mean, I do a lot of parenting when I worked in the schools as a counselor at one time, helping kids in trauma. And I always encourage the parents to have one adventure day a week. And that was something that was very special. When we lived in Erie, I remember one of our days as in the Roll Hall of Fame. Ohio. So that was pretty cool. Go off to Pittsburgh or and that really made a time of bonding. No, I was a working mom. Quality time was put aside. So that's really neat. I also love to write. Fun things you might want to know. I've written 7 books, working on my 8th one on
Wow.
trauma. Yeah. 2 are for the public. They're sold in Barnes and Noble stores. And the other one was my master's thesis in for psychology, and that was donated to science. And I understand it's out in 14 different languages now. And that was about teaching kids how to be resilient and decrease high risk behavior and increase self-esteem. So working with those kids from Atlantic City area was really amazing for
Wow.
that project.
That's
Some
awesome.
things people don't know about me. I love disco dancing. I'm definitely a disco queen from the 70s. Yeah, yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
Very nice. I remember some of
uh,
the 70s.
yeah, I know you're a little bit younger than me.
Not that much.
But I used to compete in disco dancing,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was second in
Competitive.
the state of Pennsylvania. So that was big. And
Competitive
then,
disco dancing. That is something I did not know existed. See, this is why we do this, people. We learn all
yeah,
kinds of great things here.
and I'm
It's
still out dancing in my 4-inch high heels.
good for
The
you.
disco, yeah, it'll never stop. It'll never stop.
Good
So
for you.
definitely a disco queen.
So let's bring back. You mentioned working with kids who had experienced trauma, and you came back to that a couple times. So of course I'm going to poke around there and go, why of all the infinite possibilities. What made you say, this is where I want to put my energy?
Well, I became, and I'm not supposed to talk about business, am I?
Well, we're
I
talking about
became,
you personally. You're not pitching your business. We can, the
yeah,
line's a little
okay.
fuzzy. It's
All
okay.
right. Okay. Well, I became a licensed professional counselor in New Jersey and worked in the schools as what's called a SAC counselor, student assistance counselor.
Okay.
And they have the kids that are either being bullied or bullying others, the ADHD kids, the oppositional defiant kids. Kids just are struggling emotionally in any way. And I found that they all came from traumatic homes or traumatic home environments. Parents yelling, just a lot of discord. And they come in and, my research showed if a child is emotionally upset, their cortisol is high and that makes memory low. So then these kids could have done better in school, but they were emotionally upset. So I did things like that were never heard of back then, like having meditation in my office. I did not use overhead lighting. I had low lit lamps. We did music therapy. I remember their favorite was Louis Miguel. And I don't understand or speak Spanish, but it was such a calming sound that helped chill out the kids and then return to the classroom more alert and more focused. So I had behavior charts all over my wall. They'd run down with their notebook. If they had 3 stamps for being good that day, they go in and put a star on their chart. If they got the whole week, they went into Miss Riana's treasure chest and pulled out a gift for the day. So there's a lot of positive reinforcement. And then it became intrinsic reinforcement, internal. So they found that when they were behaving more, that their grades went up and they had more friends and the teachers seemed friendlier.
Sure.
So it was first external rewards, which became internal rewards. I've always loved working with kids, and 20 years of work in trauma led me to working with adults who had childhood trauma. And it has come out that they suffer in life, love, career. And this Kaiser Permanente study out of San Diego found how those with unhealed, unconscious childhood wounds impacts them as adults in getting early disease, dying earlier, chronic illnesses like heart attacks, diabetes, just other fibromyalgia, MS, even they're linking it to Alzheimer's, the ongoing stress. So it's become a new hot topic, although I've been talking about it for several years. I'm only one voice.
Right.
So, but that's what I help my clients with today, adults
Okay.
and teenagers 16 and over.
Okay. So this is the part where I get really annoying.
Okay.
Why does all of this matter so much to Riana Milne?
Okay. Well, I went through a relationship, a second marriage, someone I really loved. Everyone called us the it couple. We loved dancing together. He was quite handsome and charming. He was a middle school principal. We had a major, wonderful romantic relationship, traveling the world together. And he was very gregarious and well liked in the school and in the community, but then he had a secret life. We call this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Okay, so if you know the play, Dr. Jekyll was very popular and well liked and a wealthy man and a nice home and charming. And then the hidden life, Mr.
Okay.
Hyde went out and murdered people at night. So Mr. Hyde is known as a hidden personality type.
Right.
And
Okay.
unfortunately, he did some things that within the school and then had porn on his school computer, and he was fired. It was a big community scandal, and it was shocking to me and our 4 kids that stood up for our wedding. And I'm like, what would lead him to do this?
Okay.
And our life was practically perfect. Why would he sabotage? And that's what I started looking for. Of course, being a psychotherapist, I had 7 psychotherapy friends. I asked them, they're like, we're all stunned. We all have no idea what's going on with him. He didn't even know why he took such risks in his life.
Okay.
And so not only did it affect us as a couple, but it affected me in business. I'm a marriage and family therapist. Why didn't I see this? I mean, obviously I'm a busy working woman and I don't have time to babysit anyone. I figure I'm doing all the right things, living in integrity. You would be too. That's kind of just what you figure. Well, that was not the case. And so I wanted to for my own understanding, look into what it had. The early work I uncovered was called ACOA, Adult Child of an Alcoholic. And indeed, he was. He had a very severe alcoholic father with very bad moods, who was verbally abused, physically abused. His family struggled. So there was, he wasn't allowed to get the clothes that he wanted. So therefore, he was teased at school. So when I added up all the trauma that he had and looking at all my caseload over these years, not only in the schools, but I worked in hospital settings with kids that were adopted in foster care, runaways, bulimic, cutting, self-mutilating. I worked in drug and alcohol rehab centers because I'm a drug and alcohol counselor too. So just putting all these cases together and all the similarities, I came up with a childhood trauma checklist. And I called them traumas in the way that the children were so traumatically affected. So a lot of people would think back, well, I didn't have trauma in my childhood. But the studies show 90% of people have 1 to 3 of the 10 traumas that I name. So most people have something, and they don't think they do until they hear the list of 10. Would you like me to go into that?
Yeah, we will. We'll get into that here in just a moment. But it seems to be then that your why, your purpose, is that you've seen and experienced the effects of childhood trauma firsthand, unhealed.
Correct.
You've dealt with it. It's impacted your life. You've watched it limit someone else who was very close to you.
Yes,
and
the fact that I got to understand what it was, really led to my healing and the ability to forgive. I actually, it really helped that piece. And then I saw the research has showed it now comes out in 3 generations as well.
Okay.
So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very interesting how you've mixed the personal experience with the clinical. Because when I studies, when I hear you talk about studies, and it's just a completely different world where you're actually looking at this in terms of data. Whereas not everybody has the resources to do that, obviously, and that's where you are. That's where you come in, I think, to offer such insights then is that, many people are so reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been that person. I've been that reactive person. I was an alcoholic. Yeah, I was an alcoholic after my daughter passed away. Well, it's, we all go through our stuff, just, knowing that and then seeing what you've done with it is inspiring. It's no wonder you're able to help change and liberate so many people. That's really cool.
Thank you, Lee. Yeah, if you can make your pain into your purpose and your passion, then it helps heal. And, the people who you keep in your memory as you move forward. My best friend was killed by a drunk driver. And then my college roommate of 3 years, who was my best friend at the time, she was murdered by her boyfriend in a domestic violence incident. So, I've combined some of these things, becoming the drug and alcohol counselor in Michael's name and his spirit, and helping in Corinne's spirit by helping people of domestic relationships, right? Domestic violence, and combining that with my own story and my own purpose. So yeah, it makes you really love what you do every day. It brings purpose to your life for sure.
Yeah. And the more that you can understand why you do what you do, what that purpose is, because you've got a very, very powerful purpose there.
Yes.
You really do. A trio of the kind of the what is it they call the Trinity of whatever. But that drives you, and that drives you on the days that you feel great and you want to do it. And I'm going to say it also drives you on the days where you really just, nobody wants to get out of bed and do what they do every day. I don't
12, think, unless 14-hour days, day after day day after day.
Even
when you're building your business.
Yeah, even if you get to look at what's behind you all day. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing in and of itself. But yeah, it's having that, sustains you, I think. And I can tell that you're very sincere and very passionate about what you do. And that shines through. It really does.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have to watch out. Now, when I saw he had traumas, I didn't think I had it. That's a typical response. And I said, okay, if
Mm.
90% of people have 1 to 3, what are mine? Well, I knew right away I was bullied as a teenage girl. I was tall and skinny with big glasses. I was a little bit gawky looking before I got into modeling. Modeling kind of saved my self-esteem.
Oh,
But I
nice.
did go through some major bullying. And then I had a very tough, critical mom, who favored my brothers. And I've always been close to my brothers. I always will be. But it was obvious that the boys were her favorite. And she was not one to say, I love you, or to give you compliments or say, great job. She goes, well, yeah, that was good, but you can always do better. It was never like a real compliment, So those were part of the list. And I'm like, yes, I had
Mhm.
those. And then you see, why are you attracting the partners you're attracting? And then what are you bringing into your relationship? So it's very, very interesting how the two combined and come together. It's fascinating.
Absolutely. So we've got a couple of minutes left in this part of it. So, like I say, I'm looking at this wonderful scenery behind you, and I'm looking at like it's so. What's it like for you? You said that you were from Erie, right?
No, I'm from
No,
Philadelphia. I'm a Philly
Philadelphia. Dang
girl.
on.
Go
Okay.
Eagles. Yeah, I'm a Philly
Oh,
girl.
cheesy peasy. Okay.
And Jersey
I,
Shore, Atlantic City, Ocean
okay.
City.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I thought I apologize for that. But so what's this like living in this like what looks to be my mother lives in Florida, so I know there are things that are not as wonderful as one would seem. But how's that change?
No, I love it. I definitely feel I suffered from seasonal affect disorder in the
Mm.
cold and the dark days of winter. But I also had fond memories of my family for 2 weeks every year going to Key West, Florida,
Ah,
since I was
okay.
like 6 years old. And I always said, I'm moving here one day. I'm moving here. And in the dead of winter, it was still warm with breezes through the palm trees and beautiful beaches. And I just always felt good in Florida, and I still do. Yes, we have our occasional hurricanes, but everybody's got something. And no, it's nice to see flowers year round. And I have a lake with birds there, 24/7. And the ducks and the stork I have in my backyard. So it's just really cool with nature, and it's very grounding for me. I love the ocean. Um, and I was a swimmer. We grew up swimmers. Here's another fun fact. I'm in the Penn State Hall of Fame for swimming.
Oh,
I
wow.
went to women's nationals for water polo. So there's a couple other facts. And I was a real into music. I worked for the #1 radio station in Philadelphia. WFIL radio is what was called a boss chick. And we sponsored all the cool concerts into the city. And one of
Wow.
my favorite stories is dancing the entire encore with Freddie Mercury of Queen, the night of the opera concert at the Tower Theater. And then there was a party
There.
afterwards. We got to party with the band. Or having the Tramps in my home in Philadelphia, all partying and hanging out. They're like, you're at Penn State, sponsor our concert up there, which I did. And just mingling with a lot of music celebrities as a younger girl was a lot of fun for me. And that's why my prior work was a model and talent agent, and I had a school for 10 years. And I was at a chocolate factory at 24. I was like Willy Wonka. So there's a lot of fun past stuff about my life.
You have had a very colorful journey, have you not?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that is just absolutely amazing, and I cannot imagine you know, getting to hang out with Freddie Mercury. That was again, it was just kind of like I'm 46, so I get to appreciate the music, but there's some of it I really just wasn't around for. They just they wouldn't let me out of my crib or whatever. Um,
Yeah, that was a
but it
great
was just
time.
really really cool. So listen, we have completed the Lee After Dark 20-minute challenge, which didn't feel like all that much of a challenge, did it?
Oh, no,
We
that's
kind of
fine.
skirted the law in a couple places, but
We did.
since since I'm the one that gets to hand out the demerits, I'm the one that gets to say, nah, let's just roll with it. So
Okay.
that's really cool. But now, because I am a man of my word, you have up to 5 minutes to tell us about your business, how people can get in touch with you, if you've got an offer to share. Floor is yours.
Okay, sure. Well, just to sum it up, I am a prior licensed mental health counselor, now a global certified life and love coach and a mindfulness coach who specializes in helping adults heal from past childhood and love trauma. And if you're interested to see if you have those 10 childhood traumas, you can go to my website, which is rianamilne.com, and you'll say, take the free love test. So childhood trauma checklist is in there. If you're single, it asks if you're ready to go out and have a relationship. If you're in a coupled relationship, do you see any red flag warnings? So go ahead and enjoy yourself with that. If you want more information on childhood traumas, I have a free ebook. It's at havetheloveyoudeserve.com. havetheloveyoudeserve.com. And my books, I have a #1 bestseller, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve, which is over 400 pages, and Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. So one is about the mindset for success. The other one is about how to have emotionally healthy, evolved, and conscious love. They are meant to go together, and you can get free chapter downloads as well at rianamilne.com. And I also help those in transition, ages 16 to 18, going off to college. They may have anxiety about that, what to choose for their career. And then once they're out of college, if they can't find work, that's another very heavy life transition. So I work with a lot of kids in that area as well. So if I can be of service to you, please let me know. And all I want to do is encourage you that now's the time to definitely create that life that you desire, what you really want to do, and to have the love that you deserve. Don't wait on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Rihanna. So it's rianamilne.com, and I'll go back through the show notes because I can't read my own writing. We will have all of these links in the show notes, I promise, so that everyone can get in touch with you. You are doing such important and impactful work, Rihanna, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on and just talk about something else for a while.
Having me.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful. So any final words you want to share with our audience today?
Well, you can't change what you don't understand. So if you've been struggling or in and out of relationships, and we have the same person but different face, and you keep going through toxic relationship after toxic relationship, or have continued anxiety, that those are signs that you have unhealed past unconscious childhood trauma. And I'm your lady to help you out with that.
Go talk to Rihanna. That's awesome.
Yeah,
thank you again so much for joining us today. We are out of time, but if you found Lee After Dark more entertaining and relevant than most of the drac out there, subscribe to our Lee After Dark YouTube channel. And now get Lee After Dark in your pants. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Stitcher, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and who the heck else knows where, so you can enjoy us wherever you stick your phone. Until next time, this is Lee Rowley with my new friend, Riana Milne. Be present and be well.